Hello Dragon Ball Super family, I'm Legends Michael Kerrick and I'm here to bring you my Android 18 deck profile in which I won the Gamerz Day 2 Best of 1 Gunslinger event this past weekend. I played against Red Green Launch, Hatchiyak, Mecha Frieza, Dark Broly, and Red Blue Green Launch for a flawless record. Let's dive right into this deck profile. This Android 18 leader from set 9 I believe, or set 8, on the backside is Dependable Sister Android 18. It is a mono blue leader. The front side is just like the Android 21 leader from the same set. When you place this card into your leader area, you choose one Android 21 scheme and place it right into your field zone, or into your battle area. Then it has an activate main once per turn. You may choose one colon token on your opponent's side of the field, remove it from the game, then you can draw a card, choose one card in your life and add it to your hand, and then you may bounce up to one one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 1 and return it to their hand. I mistakenly said black battle card because you usually only use this effect to return Black Mass Saiyan or Dark Power Black Mass Saiyan, as that card will cost you games. And then it's awaken at 4 or less life. You draw 2 cards like most control leaders. On the backside, why we play this card over Android 21 is that when this card attacks, you draw 1 card. It does have this nifty activate main that you almost never use again, where you can choose 1 card, 1 clone token in your opponent's battle area, remove it from the game, and then now you may still bounce that 1 drop on your opponent's side of the field, but then you may also combo with any blue or green battle cards for 1 less combo cost. You never really use that effect. In fact, most of the time in this game, you're not really attacking for damage. You're going to win most of your games with your opponent being at 8 life. It is a mill-based strategy. So let's look into how that works. So starting with this Android 21 scheme is a field card with the cost of 4, so relatively difficult to remove by standard field removal. It has an auto once per turn. When you or your opponent plays a battle card, or their first non-token battle card for the turn, that battle card cannot attack. This essentially places a summoning sickness on the first battle card both of you play, something you have to play around on your own kill turn, and something your opponent always has to play around on their turn. If you're looking to get into this deck, one of the easiest things to miss is reminding your opponent of this card every time they play the first time they play a battle card. Then it has this secondary effect which says when you play a black battle card, place it in its owner's drop area. This seems like a weird thing to tack onto this card, but it's something we can definitely abuse with Overwhelm. It allows us to use the Overwhelm card to eat up this first auto, what I call the Summoning Sickness, and then you can go off and win the game with your next battle card. And then finally, the real reason we're playing this leader and this Android 21 scheme is at the start of your opponent's turn, or your opponent's main phase, you play 2 clone tokens with 10k power in your opponent's battle area. These tokens do not have combo power, therefore, or combo cost, therefore they cannot be comboed with. They kind of just sit in your opponent's battle area dead for the most part until you use them to win the game. So leaping right into the deck, we're going to talk about our early mulligans and what we're really looking for in the opening game, or the opening hand, and early turns for the game. We're looking for a copy of Android 16 for his mother, and a copy of Super Android 13 Never Ending Bloodlust. Both of these cards allow us to prevent our opponent's clone tokens that we're giving them with our scheme from attacking us, which means they have significantly less attacks. We'll start with the Android 16 for his mother. It has a unique tag, which is really good, otherwise this card would be unbalanced. And then it has this permanent, this card can't be used to combo from your battle area, and your opponent's clone tokens can't attack while it's face up. If they didn't add this permanent where you can't combo this from your battle area, this card would also be nuts. When I go into the kill turn, I'll talk about that. And then it has this auto once per turn. Whenever a clone token is played to your opponent's battle area by one of your card effects, so your Android 21 scheme at the start of the main phase, this card gives them 2 more. So they get 4 tokens every turn. And then it has this really nifty activate main. You can remove one of your opponent's clone tokens from the game, and then you can play this card from your hand or drop area. So unless they warp this guy, he's going to constantly recur back to the field for 0 energy investment, which is really big. And then the Super 13 and Never Ending Bloodlust, its activate main is you can remove one of your clone tokens as long as you have no unisons in play. You can remove one of your opponent's clone tokens from the field, and you can play this card from your hand in rest mode with 1 counter on it. And then immediately you can +2 it for its activate main, and which will give your leader 5k power, and then it prevents your opponent's clone tokens from attacking you for the rest of their turn. That causes a lingering effect. So it's a little better to have them both, because if you just have this out and they remove this, then they can attack with those clone tokens, right? But if you have this out as well, they can never attack with those clone tokens, so it's just strong. Plus, being a blue unison that immediately goes to 3 and pluses 2 every turn prevents it from dying very easily and lets you keep up God Stealing technique. And then it's -4 as an activate battle. This card gets 11k power and double strike, becomes a 25k double strike. That's not really relevant in this deck at all. When you play against decks like VJX that you can't mill them out, you might have to use this to win out the game. Sometimes you can use it to clear pesky unisons that are sitting in your way or battle cards that prevent you from playing the game. So that sometimes can be relevant, but very rarely. So you're in your opening hand, you're really mulliganing for one of each of these. And if you can't find any of these, I would just mull the entire hand away. Following these cards in your opening mulligan, you're going to look for a copy or infinite copies of Intersecting Fates. Um, if you can't find these, but you find Intersecting Fates, I would still keep this card. This is like the best card you want to see in this deck. It has this activate main if your leader card is blue. Look at up to 2 cards from the top of your deck. Add one of those cards, add up to one of those cards to your hand, and then place the other one in the bottom. And then at the end of your turn, you can switch up to one of your mono blue energy to active mode. That effect is just nuts. So it's a 0 energy tutor. Cycle through your deck 2 cards faster. Finds exactly what piece you need to add to your hand. So if you don't start with these, but you start with these, you can almost depend on this card to find you these. As for opening mulligans, these are only cards I would mulligan for. I probably wouldn't keep anything else except for the SCR in my opening hand. But otherwise, like, you want to keep as many copies of these as you can find and at least one of each of these. These cards become easy charge fodder after you already have your initial one in your hand. So moving away from the early game, or from the opening turns, we're going to have our draw power in the deck. We're going to start with what I call the upstart goblins of the deck. Unbreakable Super Saiyan Son Goku and Infernal Villain Cell both have the same auto where when this card is, when this card is used in a combo, essentially, you can draw a card. This one also has if you evolve into this card, but we're not going to do that. They're 10 for 1k combos, so you can pay an energy combo out of an attack for 10k and then cycle a card to replace it, digging through your deck to find your kill turn easier, or find your kill combo easier. Plus, these cards being red or green are pretty effective. You can charge 2 red going into turns 4 and 5 if you need to play Frieza from your hand if you just ran out of rebirths or haven't found a rebirth. Also, it being a green card for Infernal Villainy Cell means your leader can make it cost 0 on the backside when you're offensively comboing. And then to pair out our draw engine / combo power, we have 4 of the draw 2 super combos and 4 Ultra Instinct Goku's Kamehameha. This just makes it so that you can bait your opponent into all-inning when an attack when you're at 4 or 3 life and they have a triple or quad strike, and there's almost no way that they're going to out-combo you with this deck. All 4 copies of this card just give you 15k combo power while untapping energy. So it's a 0 energy investment while giving you combo power. When you're trying to out-combo somebody to survive, this most of the time will just over the top them. Plus another 40k from these and another 80k from these that replace themselves. Chances are you're going to beat anything that's coming in at you. And to round out our big combo power engine, we're going to have 4 copies of Senzu Bean. Senzu Bean lets us beat out the super wide decks that peskily want to hit us for only 15k, so they can try to force out our 10ks for free. We can use Senzu Bean to shut that stuff down right away. Not to mention, these cost 1 energy to combo with, so we can use Senzu Bean to facilitate more copies of these cards should we need to find extra cards in our deck. It being a blue charge is pretty relevant. I am going to go ahead and say that this deck is a 58 or 59 card main deck. If there were any cards that I want to cut, I haven't found it yet. Maybe one of the trunks that I'm about to go over in a little bit. But other than that, most of these cards I found myself wanting at 4 copies. Moving away from our combo power, we're going to go into our hard negates. Because we are playing the best color in the game, we do have 4 copies of Dimension Magic to give us more mana to play with our free combo power. We have 1 copy of Max Power Kamehameha. It's a one drop negate that we can then warp 4 cards from our drop and add it back to our hand for the following turns, giving us a recurable negate, plus an activate main to let us get rid of pesky anti-control cards like that Demeager Overrealm. And then we have 3 Chilled Army Reinforcements, simply because there isn't a better blue negate right now. Going to set 13, there's that Hercule negate that we might play. It's a 1-drop blue negate that we can just pay 1 for. Because most of the times, once we're already awakened, we don't want to be taking more life with Chilled Army Reinforcements sparking just to block a second attack. But it is cool that it generates a blocker. The blocker essentially buys you 2 attacks. And then rounding out our negate engine, we of course have the best blue SCR. We have Baby Hachiax Destroyer, effectively letting you buy a turn. For anybody who's playing with the Baby Hachiax Destroyer, try to use this card as late as you possibly can in your game. It's better to buy a later turn with this than to use it earlier and save negates, if you get what I'm saying. Because the more energy your opponent has, the easier it is for them to play around your extra negates. So if you can burn these early and hold these off for a turn 5 or a 6, then you're going to be in a much better position with the card. going forward from there, we finally move into our kill combo. So a classic kill combo for blue right now is the 4 Rebirth of Justice, which allows you to pay 4 mana, activate main, play up to one blue battle card in your hand that has a energy cost of 5 or less, and of course the card we choose is full power Frieza 100% overdrive. This allows us to mill our opponents out of the game. Since we're giving them 4 clone tokens every turn, by turn 4 they're going to be at 16 clone tokens. Full power 100% overdrive on his attack. He chooses all of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and reduces their power by 30k. And then his second auto is when the power of one of your opponent's battle cards is reduced, your opponent sends the top 2 cards of their deck to their drop. So just by turn 4, assuming you've only played the 16 clone tokens of their field, and you slam this Rebirth into Frieza down, you're milling them for 32 cards. Doing the math on a 50 card like standard deck, -8 for life is 42, -6 for your hand is 36, -4 turns of drawing, they're already at that 32 card limit just for those 16 tokens. Of course, this might change if you need to manipulate how you use your clone tokens. You might have to buy an extra turn before you go all in, but this is already a one-shot kill on turn 4, assuming they played nothing all game and they're playing a base deck. Of course, you can always ask your opponent how many cards are left in their deck. That is public knowledge. Since Android's 21 scheme does prevent this card from attacking if it's the first card that you play, we're going to have to play some overrounds to facilitate that. So here we have 1 copy of Trunks Time Regulator and 2 copies of Secret Identity Masked Saiyan. Originally, when I first played the deck, I was playing 3 copies of Trunks Time Regulators and 0 Secret Identities, because this card will improve our consistency throughout the course of the game. However, I was running into an issue with aggro Shenron. They were just bringing up the Naturon Shenron, and then when I tried to play Frieza, it would rest the Frieza and I would lose the game. Whereas now with the Secret Identity, you can just overrun the Secret Identity, remove the Naturon, 1 or 2, and then play your Frieza and swing out and end the game. If you don't have one of these to facilitate your Android 21 scheme Summoning Sickness, you can always just bring out one if you don't have one on the field from your drop or from your hand to eat the Summoning Sickness, and then play Rebirth into Frieza and close out the game. And then finally, so that we don't automatically lose to Frieza Charismatic Villain in green, we play 4 copies of SS Trunks God Stealing Technique. Versus other decks, this card is not so great. Yeah, it might buy you an extra attack. Like, it obviously is a powerful counterplay, but with how cheap things are being played nowadays, this card is getting less and less powerful. It's really just there to make sure that green doesn't automatically beat you in the game. But there you have it for my best of 1 Android 18 mill deck that I used to win at Gamerz this past weekend. I do definitely think this is the most toxic deck to come out for best of 1 since Reboot Gohan existed, and I would beg Bandai to deal with this deck in some way, shape, or form. But until then, I hope you guys give this deck a shot and tell me what you think. I'll catch you guys next time.